Hi TJ community, this is Dr. Ann Bonatatabas, proud principal of TJ. I hope this message finds you well as you're enjoying reconnecting with family and friends this summer, whether in virtual spaces or in person. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing as we're planning for a return to school, looking at in person or virtual. The purpose of this message to you is to just recap some of the recent decisions by the FCPS school board and to be able to answer some frequently asked questions that have been coming in to me. So in terms of summarizing the pieces I'm going to go over, I just want to review with you the guiding principles, some of the scenarios that there are that FCPS is asking us to think about, and the bell schedule and some of the social distancing protocols that are going to be in place. In terms of the guiding principles, number one, we want to make sure that we ensure a safe learning environment for everyone because learning cannot occur unless it is in a safe environment. We want to provide maximum family choice for students and for teachers now as they make selections. And we want to make sure that we deliver a high quality instructional program moving along. FCPS has outlined 3 scenarios, the 3-1 being the virtual learning if schools are completely shut down for students. We also know that the other 2 scenarios under consideration right now where families are being asked to make a choice are the in-school learning with health and social distancing, where there will be guidelines in place for that distancing, but it is a face-to-face opportunity with teachers. And then there's also the full-time online learning, and that is not limited any longer by health concerns. You may have a personal preference or a personal reason for selecting that. FCPS has put out a sample model. This is not necessarily set in stone. It is one type of model that shows how certain groups are able to alternate. So when they're face-to-face, they may alternate certain days, such as Tuesday, Thursday, then Wednesday, Friday, and the online pieces may be streaming every day in different ways, both synchronous and asynchronous, and how those who are in face-to-face formats might also then have the asynchronous opportunities or perhaps synchronous online opportunities as well, depending on how we implement the models. Transportation is key for TJ because 100% of our school, nearly 100%, is commuting, and we know that we cannot fill school buses, so the school buses have to have alternating spaces to keep our students safe. We are working with our sending jurisdictions to make sure that their transportation models will be able to complement ours as well. In classrooms, the social distancing is such that at TJ we'll be able to fit about 12 to 15 students in a classroom. We will space them 6 feet apart. We know that we have some larger spaces like our writing center and the lecture hall, cafeterias, and commons areas that will be able to accommodate students also, so we can really spread out and be safe. This is one of the key reasons why families are not able to continue to change their minds as we go through the year about returning to school, because once we have a safe environment, we just may not have the space to accommodate and put another student in a space. One of the things to point out is that TJ's bell schedule is being adjusted by 30 minutes, so that way the proposal right now is that TJ would actually start a half hour earlier, which means we end a half hour earlier. So rather than 8:40 to 4 o'clock, it is now 8:10 to 3:30. Finally, the full-time online learning, it is not dictated anymore by medical need. It could be by a personal circumstance. We are asking teachers also to make choices, and all of those, of course, those intents are due by July 10th, and by now you have received that information from the superintendent, and it shows a chart with ideas about both models and some explanations to help you in your decision making. One of the things that we know is that we're going to utilize our school-based staffing to the degree that we can, and then if for some reason a certain teacher is not available or a certain course just cannot be run, then there could be online or virtual Virginia options. Again, to the greatest degree possible, we're going to try to accommodate the vast majority of the TJ courses. The curriculum focuses on those core areas and making sure students will be meeting their diploma requirements, and that also includes the honors diploma that is at TJ that is a bit more unique to us. And then we want to make sure that student schedules will be aligned to the greatest degree possible in their online environment and the face-to-face. As far as a decision-making model, I'd like to point out this is not FCPS, this is Dr. Bonatatabas really trying to simplify that model. And so you have to ask yourself if you have a health circumstance for a child or family. If so, you choose online learning. And then if you have an extenuating personal circumstance, with no explanation, no judgment, but you just feel that this is going to be best for you and your family, then choose the online learning. If health or personal circumstance is not overriding, then please choose the face-to-face learning. Both of these models then have to end up aligning so that way we are able to plan our instructional design to meet the teacher and student preferences. Please note, this decision-making model does not start with the instructional design. I know many of you are looking for that because some parents are saying, well, if this teacher returns, or if this lab is going to run, or if this particular course is offered in person, then I'll go face-to-face. But if it isn't, then I'll just choose to stay at home. It is not this that drives the decision-making. It is your health and personal circumstances that do. So in terms of enrollment that's really unique to TJ, I've already discussed how you should base your decision. And some parents have said, can we come back halfway through the year? No, per FCPS, the decision is binding unless the overall status changes, at which point we'll get redirection from FCPS. Families at TJ cannot temporarily withdraw and then come back the following year. So some people have said, can I homeschool my child, go to a private school, maybe just go to a base school in my home jurisdiction like Loudoun or Prince William? You could, but according to FCPS Regulation 3355, you are not then eligible to pop back in to TJ. The only way that you are able to temporarily withdraw is if the parents and the child move out of the jurisdiction, have a plan that gets approved and submitted to me, and then move back into the jurisdiction with the guarantee that while they were away for a year, that they are still on track for the TJ diploma. And then, as I already said, we are hoping that the non-FCPS jurisdictions will continue to work with us and support all of the models that we have. I'd like to explain a little difference between online courses versus online learning and use takeout food as an example. So some food is designed and packaged so that way you can pass it through the fast food window, you take it home, you eat it, it pretty much tastes the same as in the restaurant, maybe the fries are a little soggy, whereas there are meals that deserve to be plated and presented and eaten in the restaurant for the full experience, and you can't ever really replicate it in the same way at home. Well, that's the difference that there is between an online course and online learning. An online course is designed and packaged to be in that environment. Whereas online learning is a course that was really designed to be face-to-face, and now we're trying to plate it and take it home, and it's not going to quite feel and look the same. So there will have to be some compromises and adjustments for that particular type of learning. Again, we want to make sure that to the degree it possible that we are able to have the same courses available online and face-to-face, and that we are not having a difference in standards. A way that I like to explain this is that we could have a teacher who says, I prefer to be in person, but I'm also willing to do online. And so the students who are at home could tune in at the same time that the teacher is delivering the face-to-face and be able to hear the teacher, see what's going on in the classroom, and fully participate and really get that kind of experience. Likewise, if there are students who are in the building for face-to-face instruction, but the teacher isn't there because the teacher needed to stay home to do the online piece, it could be that during second period at 9 o'clock, when that teacher logs on and starts delivering instruction, the students who are in our building will go to room 43, sit down, log on, and I'll have someone supervising them, and then they can enjoy that teacher while they're in our building. So again, these are some things that we're trying to work with FCPS on, and we're hoping that through some creative programming that we'll be able, again, to keep TJ family intact and enjoy the full complement of classes as much as possible. The standards remain the same, the what, the skills and outcomes. It's just that the approaches may differ, the how, between face-to-face and online. Regardless, both of the models have an impact on the breadth that we're able to cover. Therefore, we will be seeing an adjustment to scope and sequence, which means that we probably skinny the breadth and then go much deeper with certain concepts. We'll still be able to accomplish the same skills and outcomes, but just in a different way. The AP classes that we have at TJ, with our teachers teaching them, they could be online and face-to-face. Again, if for some reason it's not available at TJ, there could be some online campus options, or some flexibility to combine with some other schools. As much as possible, we are going to try to stay focused on TJ. The labs could be in person. We just do not know yet the degree to which we will have time to set up labs and disinfect and control the materials in the labs. Imagine robotics or prototyping where there are lots of materials, hands-on things, grabbing gears and wires and metal, and how can we account for that in a different way? Same thing for wet labs, chemistry, neurobiology, where students are used to working in pairs and they're touching all kinds of paraphernalia and apparatus. How can we safely move from lab to lab, class to class? So those are the things we're going to be talking about, and to the degree possible, I think our teachers will have some really viable compromises. They've also researched virtual online labs, and I believe that we have some quality options there as well. I've already talked a little bit about how face-to-face learning could occur at the same time as online learning if we blend our programs and match up teachers and students. And online learning could take place on our campus, as I previously explained. As far as students taking some classes in person and online, and can a student say, can I come on Tuesday, Thursday to school, but then stay home on Wednesday, Friday? The answer to that is no. Per FCPS, you have to choose one environment or the other. And if in fact the status changes and everybody can come back to school, but you still want to keep your child at home, FCPS will help give us direction should a status change. We will continue to run 8th period at TJ. We already did that during distance learning. It was in a modified kind of way, but we have a robust offering of over 150 clubs, and we still want to be able to offer those. After school activities are still a bit in limbo. There has not been authorization as of this date to be able to offer athletics or marching band or other kinds of activities where groups of kids normally get together. So please stay tuned on that. We do know that if there's in-person learning and if the teacher's there in person, then yes, we could have band, but it would be in a small group, probably just 15 students or 20. Some of our band rooms are larger, so we could social distance a little more. And the practices and rehearsals might look a little different, but it's still our plan to offer those. As much as possible, we hope to offer the electives and specialty courses, but it is, again, dependent on enrollment and teacher and student choices. And we hope to have as many TJ teachers as possible and to keep students grouped together. Operationally, some parents have said, I'm really worried about my child riding a bus. They have a driver's license. Can they be issued a parking pass where normally that they wouldn't be able to? Absolutely. We believe we're going to be able to accommodate all of the requests for parking passes. It will start with the seniors as a first priority, then juniors, then sophomores, but we believe that we are going to be able to help you out with that. We will absolutely enforce all health protocols, social distancing, masks, whatever is required. It is not going to be a teacher choice or a student choice to opt out of or not comply with the safety standards. We've also had people say, well, at TJ, we love eating wherever we want. No, so that's a hard no. Again, we have to disinfect, clean the building. We have to be socially distant. So we will probably have some guidelines in place about how lunch will occur at TJ right now. Some parents have also said, well, between now and July 10th, can you give us a status update on which teachers are going to stay home, or maybe which groups of students are choosing which options? And the answer to that again is no, because many minds can change between now and July 10th. And again, your decision making needs to be driven by your health concerns or personal circumstance, not on speculation about which teachers or which courses or what the program design is going to be. So thank you for your support and understanding. We're going to do our very best to keep our TJ family intact while delivering a quality education program. We know there are going to be compromises. We are going to pair some pains with some gains. We also know that it's important that we are realistic and that we not overpromise at this point because there are so many unknowns. As FCPS, has more information that comes forward, I could envision us having some town halls where we have more conversation. I encourage you to tune in to the July 6th town hall with the superintendent. The school board will also be meeting at the end of July once we get the data in from the July 10th deadline. And once I get that information and we start working on those things, and faculty will be involved with that, as well as administrators, I really hope to have a comprehensive program that will really deliver for TJ. So thank you so much for this opportunity to update you, and I wish you a continued fulfilling summer.